What is going on YouTube? My name is Lucas. Today I'm going to give you 3 stocks that managed to make it on my watch list for the month of July. And if you're interested in this watch list, I suggest you stay tuned right after this. Before I really break off into these 3 stocks, I ask nicely that you smash that subscribe button. Yes, smash it. And the reason is because it helps me out tremendously, but it also helps you out tremendously by providing you information on when I upload a video. And when I upload the video, it's going to tell you information on stocks, business, the stock market, all kinds of different things, current news. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's greatly appreciated. Jump right into it. So number 1 on my list, and there has been a lot of YouTubers out there who have actually done a video on this company. I wanted to do it a little differently because I don't quite think it's a buy now opportunity just yet. And I'm going to slap this thing on my watch list. So number 1 on my list is going to be Shell, which is also called Tortoise Acquisitions. And basically what this is it's a blank check company that's going to reverse IPO basically. And what it is doing is it's going to go from Tortoise Acquisitions and it's going to turn into Hyliion, is hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is an electrical diesel company. And basically it's going to be for big trucks that are going to be running across the road and doing long deliveries and things like that. The company is actually looking to reverse IPO in the late 3rd quarter of this year. So it'll be very interesting to see what this stock can do currently before it actually transitions to that company. And there's another company that recently did this, and it also is a very hot topic, and that was Nikola. And basically they did the same thing, but they did it with a different company. And we saw what Nikola got to and now where it's getting to. I personally feel that this is definitely going to be a stock worth watching. I think that there's a lot of, growth within this niche, especially with Nikola being the only ones that have really come out with a truck similar to what Hyliion is working towards. I think with the EVs just blowing up across, the entire stock market, all these companies are IPOing, and obviously you got your main headliner of Tesla, but you got all these other followers coming in behind it. I think this is one that is definitely capable of being successful, only because they've really narrowed down the niche even more. One of the biggest reasons why I put this on my watch list is because this company already has an order in place for 1,000 trucks. And I think that's a pretty big deal and a pretty big accomplishment for a company who has yet to really just even come onto the market. That's pretty big news. So now it's my favorite time when it comes to a video. I love breaking down charts, as you guys know. So let's swing on over here and let's get right into this thing. So today it opened at $29.46 and it closed at $31.84. It got as high as $34.67 and its low was $28 even. So what it did after hours was it climbed a little bit more, got to $32.50, relatively up 2.07%. And one of the biggest things, and I've really started kind of following this thing as of last week, and what really drew my eye to it was another YouTuber. His name is Gen Z. He commented on one of my videos and really kind of referred me to this stock after I did a video on Nikola. So props to you, man. But as I started diving into this, really doing some research on it, I started seeing some very similar things to Nikola. And what I mean by that is, as we can see, the volume for this is around 37.35 million. And its average volume is only around 1.687 million. So when I really think that they started to see the comparison and really started to see what this thing could potentially do based off of something like Nikola that just did the exact same thing, this thing started to skyrocket. Then with some support of adding the 1,000 truck order, this thing shot up to its 52-week high, which we're going to be able to see right there, of $34.67. And I don't see it hitting its 52-week low of $9.50 anytime soon. This chart is definitely a 1 month chart. As you can see on June 1st, it was pretty low all the way till about the 20th of June. And then we really started to see that volume kick in. We started seeing the chart raise. It got to about $17, $18, and since then it's just continued to climb. So I definitely would keep this on my watch list. I do think it's going to come down a little bit, just naturally, because there really isn't anything other than the 1,000 order going right now. So I do see this thing coming back down a little bit. Keep this train a rolling. So watch list stock number 2, and that is going to be Starbucks. I'm going to take you guys back a little bit into history. We're going to go back a couple months, right when the coronavirus really started to impact the entire world. Not that it's not still impacting the world, but right when it was a huge new thing and there was just outbreaks everywhere. So when that started to happen, we have to think where Starbucks is located. Well, it's a worldwide company. I mean, it's all over the world. And majority of them don't actually have drive-thrus. You know, when I go to Starbucks, I think of walking into this coffee shop and seeing the vast amount of people doing all different kinds of things. I mean, I've even seen people playing guitars. But you got to think, you go there for social interaction. You go there to have a one-on-one conversation with someone. Maybe you go there with your family and you have a sit down just to drink some coffee. I mean, there's people there that are conducting business. There's people doing homework. There's people there listening to music. There's people there reading books. There's so much stuff that goes on within coffee shops, specifically Starbucks. I mean, we go there to get the drinks, the snacks, the food. There's all kinds of things that Starbucks does. Now, fast forward a little bit, when the coronavirus shut this place down, it really impacted them. It really had a major hit to their basically their stock, and you'll see when I break down the chart. Now, moving forward, what they were able to do by adapting and maybe preparing a little bit for a round 2 or a potential, another shutdown. So what they did is they really started to capitalize and utilize on their app. Not necessarily that they weren't doing that, but they were like, hey, we got to innovate. We got to be a little bit more creative, because if we don't, it's going to hurt us even more. So what they were able to do was grow their users on their app store by 19.4 million people. I mean, that's a big number of people. That's a big loyal following, and they were able to do that. On top of all this information I'm providing you, we got to think the biggest competitor to potentially potentially to Starbucks that is located in China was Luckin Coffee. Well, as you guys know, I've done a couple videos. Here's number 1, and then here's number 2. And both those videos, you guys know how I feel about Luckin Coffee. Unfortunately, they went through a delisting. They are no longer listed on the NASDAQ. They are now a penny stock. They're traded over the counter, and they got a lot of things to work through. They got a lot of fraudulent activity they got to fight through. At some point, they got to put out a quarterly earnings, and there's just a lot going on with them. They still have the 6,500 stores functioning, and they're still working through it, but I think there's a chance that Starbucks could overpower them now just because of all this stuff that Luckin's dealing with. But the reason I'm going to keep Starbucks on my watch list is just because in case we encounter a round 2 of the coronavirus, I think there's a chance that they might be impacted a little more when it comes to in-store, and I could see this stock dropping off a little bit just based on quarterly earnings in the near future. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this one. I used to own Starbucks and I sold it a while back, and I would be interested in getting back in, especially if the price point is reasonable and I feel like it's a great time to get in. I would say you smell the air of that chart breaking down time, but really there's no smell to breaking down charts. So just ignore everything I said. Let's swing on over here and let's break into this thing. Now I changed it up a little bit on you guys, and I'm going to show you a 6-month chart. And the reason I'm doing that is because I really want you guys to see how big of an impact the coronavirus had on this company. So we're going to start out with today, but I'm going to dive into a little bit more into the months. So as you can see, today we opened at $71.41. We closed at $73.48. That was up 2.67%. We got as high as $73.50, and our low on the day was $71.06. Its volume is down a little bit to 8.65 million, excuse me, and its market cap is 85.85 billion. And the reason I wanted to mention that is just because where Luckin Coffee was compared to a monster, major player like Starbucks, Luckin had a long way to go. Its 52-week high is $99.72, and its 52-week low is $50.02. Its average volume is 12.02 million. Now we're going to dive into this chart. As you guys can see, December, it got pretty high. It more than likely hit its 52-week high in the month of December leading into January. And that's where we really kind of started to have a fall off. It fell off into the month of February. We started to make a climb back, and then we had the epic pandemic called the coronavirus, and we fell pretty hard. And that's probably when we hit that 52-week low of $50.02. If we didn't hit it then, we came pretty darn close. We started to climb back, and then we fell off again. It's just been a rough go for Starbucks. There's just been all kinds of stuff, and with it being so heavily dependent upon its customers coming in store and really interacting and having that social gathering, that really kind of put a major hit on this company. And we haven't quite fully recovered all the way, and we're still flirting around that $75 to $70 range. That's why I'm keeping this on my watch list, but I definitely can see in the future this becoming a buy now, especially with a dividend that isn't terrible. I really would keep this on my watch list for sure. 3 on my list, and this one is definitely risky, and it always seems like when I talk about it, it is negative. And so I'm going to slap this one into a watch list. I do think that this one is very profitable when it's doing the right things, but as of right now, it is not. And that is going to be Facebook. Facebook, as of late, is really causing and stirring some issues up, and some 200 plus companies are withdrawing their ad revenue. They just don't feel that they really want to be a part or affiliated with Facebook at this time. And if you really think big picture, how Facebook generates its money and its revenue is from ads. I'm gonna look over here to give you some exact numbers just because of how impactful its ad revenue is. So first thing is I want to touch on is as of Friday, June 26th, Facebook's stock plunged 8.32%. And so we really got to understand Facebook's money comes from ad revenue. So back into this. Its revenue was 70.70 billion in 2019. That's up 27% year over year from the year prior. And its growth has been very worrisome, and the demand of pricing has also been really affected by the coronavirus, and obviously all the business closures. So when they did their quarterly one announcement in 2020, it rose about 18% to 17.73 billion. And yes, that sounds like a lot of money, but when Facebook really reported that, it was their weakest quarterly growth since they've been a public company. So that's the reason why I'm keeping it on my watch list. I think the stock price is still pretty high. And with all these companies, big time companies, one of them specifically being Starbucks, is withdrawing their ads from Facebook. I think this stock could come down in price, maybe not necessarily in July, but over a period of time I think it could come down to where it's a reasonable price. And if it's something you're interested in, I would definitely, take a swing at it, because I think Facebook can generate you some money when it comes to being an investor or even just a trader. I do think that there is money to be had when it comes to Facebook, so I'm going to slap this thing on my watch list and really keep an eye on it for sure. The final chart breakdown. Let's swing on over here and dive into this thing. Facebook. So it opened today at 209.75, and it got as high and closed at $220.64. That was a 2.11% increase. The market actually did really well today, so I can see why this stock went up. Its high was $220.75, and its low was $207.11, which I do believe was right out the gate. It dropped down to that. Its volume for today was 57.65 million, and that's because all those companies are withdrawing, and there are a lot of people that want to be involved with this company. So as you can see, its market cap is $628.6 billion. That's pretty good. Its 52-week high is $245.19, and its 52-week low is $137.10, and its average volume is 24.65. So I have this at a 1 month chart, and it starts on June 1st, and this thing really has fluctuated, and there's just always news about Facebook. As you guys can remember, probably about a month and a half ago, Donald Trump was having some issues with social media, and Facebook happened to be one of those. Now, it wasn't all directed at Facebook. It was a lot of the heat was going towards Twitter, but Facebook was involved because they're a social media platform. And so anytime social media is scrutinized or it is just really discussed in the media, this is going to jump up and down. Obviously, there's probably a lot of people that like to trade Facebook as well because it is profitable. But as you guys can see, as we started getting closer to where we're at today, around the 25th, this thing just started to really have some news that wasn't the greatest. All those companies started withdrawing, and it really had a major collapse. It fell pretty far down to the low 200s. I still think that there's a chance that this thing could dip a little more, and when that happens, that's when I would convert this thing over from a watch to a buy. I don't think it's going to get anywhere close to its 52-week low, but I could see it potentially getting to like 185 to 190, and if it does do that, I'm going to throw some money at it and get some shares for sure, because I see this thing returning over time. But that's why I'm keeping it on my watch list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys add these 3 amazing stocks to your watch list. You guys know how I do it. If you like this video, smash that like button. It helps out tremendously. And if you enjoy the content, well, because I'm going to keep the content flowing, subscribe to my channel. And as always, have a good day.